Hey guys, so this should probably be the last one. I know I saw Metroid 4, which is really cool, but you know, that was never really a fan of those games. They're great games. I remember playing the first one, but I just got to I for me, if I first person shooters and stuff like that, if I play them too long, I get sick. I don't know why. And I mean, I would play mine on my bed, and it was good distance from my TV, and I still managed to get sick from it. So I don't know. It's just way my eyes were. Um, Still great games. I mean, Metroid, Samus, complete badass. Um, a person all women should aspire to be. Self-sustaining. But with Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Donkey Kong Country, grew up with Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. Um, just that beginning with Cranky, the do 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 do, that just amazing. That music, was it almost like 30 years now? It's still in my head and still one of the most memorable songs of my childhood. That sound, the music, just so memorable. Um, but this is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD with hyper realistic blood.
Donkey Kong Country Returns, originally released on the Wii system, is barreling onto Nintendo Switch in HD. The villainous Tiki Tak tribe has hypnotized the local wildlife and stolen Donkey Kong's precious banana hoard. Obstacles in the way? Just stomp them, pound them, and roll on through. Each level is filled with hijinks, but they're no match for these top bananas. From manic minecarts to high-flying rocket barrels, and even hitching a ride on Rambi. There are plenty of transportation methods available. Pass a Joy-Con controller to a buddy for two-player local co-op. 80 appealing levels are in store, including the additional levels from the Nintendo 3DS version. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD swings onto the Nintendo Switch system January 16th.
Yeah. I have the one for the 3DS. I got it Black Friday several years ago, I think. Really great game. But, when I think of Donkey Kong Country, the first thing that comes to my mind is the original Donkey Kong Country, the one that started it all. The graphics were just so different. The music was amazing, whether it be, like I said, the starting the game up or that that was amazing. The underwater theme was just so, all the music was just on point. Um those minecart levels though, I think we all remember how terrible those were. Because it's like you would have to time your jump to jump over to the next track, and if you didn't, you just dead. Um, but Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, the first one, and of course, like had all these other characters and other modes of transportation. Um, but yeah, the Donkey Kong Returns, it was different. Like was it Tropical Freeze or whatever it was? Those games were different mainly because like Donkey Kong, you have Donkey Kong Country and the second and third, they were on the Super Nintendo. So capabilities weren't exactly there, so you might have had like a nice pretty background, but nowadays, you can put so much in the background now and not suffer, have your gameplay suffer or anything like that. So you can have stuff like this. You have the foreground, you have the background. You can have so much going on now because our technology and our hardware is so much better. Go look back at the old Donkey Kong Country and now look at this. It's just night and day. That doesn't mean that Donkey Kong Country and the ones on Super Nintendo were bad, but the hardware capabilities never would have allowed anything like this to, it was pretty basic backgrounds, and you didn't really have a lot going on. And but just like most Nintendo, with Mario, like Mario game, I watched the trailer for the new Zelda game. Bright and colorful, exactly what you expect from Donkey Kong Country. We have Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong right there at the forefront. And they look good. I mean, they look like themselves. Donkey Kong, their fur definitely looks a little more like fur. If you look there, you can kind of see like each little thing of fur, each little strand of fur. It's got the humor that you would expect. It's like with Mario, I said, there's certain types of humor that come along with each game. Like Mario has, like, that world has its own little brand of humor. Donkey Kong has its brand of humor. So it's good to see them stick with that. These aren't just like remakes and there's like, oh, we're gonna change everything completely. No, they're just pretty much taking what was so great about the first time and just making it HD. Remaking it for. This is how you remake things for a modern audience. You're taking what's there and just updating things, updating controls, updating graphics. Story doesn't need to be messed with. Characters don't need to be messed with. Just take what existed and worked the first time and just translate it to more powerful hardware. That's all you got to do. And because of nostalgia and all that with Donkey Kong, again, Donkey Kong Country, okay, so just to prove a point here, close your eyes. Just close your eyes. You're fine, I promise. I promise, you're fine. Just close your eyes. Now, if you've played this game before, so close your eyes and think about when you played this game, when the first time you played this game. So I'm going to play the music. So just keep your eyes closed. You'll see what I'm talking about. Told ya. Told ya. It's like the first time you hear the Legend of Zelda theme, or the first time you hear Super Mario World's theme. It just hits ya like a fucking truck. It just hits ya. And Nintendo has done very well over the 30, 40 years it's been around, well, making games, because they've been around since like the 1800s, card games and other little games like that. But in their time is, you know, video games, they've done exceedingly well creating characters, um, music, and not just, I mean, obviously Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Kirby. Um, they've just done really, really well. Like basically, this is so many people. It's their childhood, whether it be the 80s or 90s. You grew up with something Nintendo, you know. Um, so, but yeah, that song, it's so good, so freaking good. But it's good to see a cool game like Donkey Kong Country Returns, something that had a lot of potential, maybe not have been able to execute it as well as possible, because you know the Wii was strong, but they probably wanted to do a lot more with it, but just kind of couldn't because there were still hardware limitations. But now that we have the Switch and possibly Switch 2 coming out soon enough, the hardware is a lot more updated, a lot more powerful. So they say, oh, we can go back and we can update everything and better controls and better graphics and add more levels and this and that. You know, they can. It's going to be the game fully realized, because they have the technology. You know, they can they can rebuild it. They have the technology. Uh, references, but I'm old. Um, but yeah, I really hope that it's a good game, because I love Donkey Kong Country. I love the second game. I love the third game. You know, eh. Now Donkey Kong 64 music was great. I mean, people love Donkey Kong 64. I played it for a little while. I'm like, it's okay. It's kind of like a mixture of like Conker's Bad Fur Day and Banjo Kazooie. Um, DK Donkey Kong. Um, but it was a cool game. Uh, Diddy's Kong, Diddy Kong Racing, amazing game. I love that game. One of my favorite racing games of all time. But Donkey Kong Country, if you did what I said and with the music, yeah, you'll know. But anyway, that was Donkey Kong Country Returns HD with hyper realistic blood. Let me know what you think about it. If you played the Donkey Kong Country Returns, what about Donkey Kong Country? Where were you? How old were you when you played Donkey Kong Country? Were you like me when it came, played when it came out? Or did you play it somewhere down the line? Like, oh, I heard about this game that people used to play in the dark times, in the dark ages, and I thought I'd try it for myself. Let me know below. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.